6:31, breaking news right now. Two state senators are calling for the resignation of a state school board member after comments he made about a woman yesterday. We're talking about board member Herb Rozell. Herb is actually on the phone. I just called him a few minutes ago and said, Herb, hey, can we talk about this on the air this morning? Herb, are you with me?
Yes.
Well, good morning, sir. I appreciate you joining us. Herb, you are a board member of the State Department of Education, and Janet Barisi with her first meeting as she's presiding over as the superintendent. And we're going to play the comments that a lot of folks are talking about this morning. So let's listen in on what the exchange was yesterday between you and Janet Barisi.
If she has that child in April and takes off 6 weeks, she's worthless to us.
Sir, that is highly
she won't be able to keep up with
inappropriate.
All right, heard Janet Barisi telling Herb Rozell that that was inappropriate. Herb, you're on the phone with us. You've had a few hours to think about what happened at that meeting yesterday. Do you regret anything at this point of what you said?
Yeah, I didn't mean that the lady was worthless. What my point was that you need someone in the legislature that's going to give you information on bills, especially the latter part of April and May. That's a terribly important time. I didn't mean the lady was worthless. I didn't mean that at all. I was just telling Barisi that we needed make sure someone was there during April and May.
Well, Senator Clark Jolly and John Ford both are calling for a public apology and for your resignation. First, let's talk about the public apology. Are you apologizing for those comments made yesterday?
If they took them wrong, I apologize. I didn't mean to belittle the lady in any way. Heaven forbid I don't do that. So if they took it wrong, I don't know how to handle that. I wasn't talking about her. I even voted to hire her. So I wasn't talking about the lady.
Well, sometimes when people say they took it wrong, what if you said it wrong? Can you say I was wrong in the way I said it instead of they took it wrong? I think that might be a better apology.
That might be possible that I said it wrong, but I just want someone there in April and May.
And I understand what you're saying. Your concern was that this woman, if she was on maternity leave, would not be able to be the legislative liaison because she would be on maternity leave. Is that what I'm understanding you to say?
Not necessarily, because I don't know whether she would be off or not. She never did say, but if I hurt her feelings over that, I meant that we need to make sure we had someone there.
And that's what you meant by the word worthless. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know what I meant by worthless, but that we wouldn't have anybody there.
Herb, let me ask you a little bit because, you know, back in November, I think Janet Barisi's point about being elected by a majority of the people in Oklahoma is that, guess what? You as the board do have to work with her now. And it seemed like from point of entry of this meeting yesterday, it was very contentious. It seemed like when she said, you know, I was elected by nearly 56%, you chimed in very quickly. I could care less how you were elected. You're just a member of the board. I mean, Herb, isn't there a way of how words are said that people do have to be accountable? Do you wish you could go back and do this over? I mean, it sounded so bitter.
Well, you're making it sound like I was the one that was doing all the bad stuff or all the stuff that
No, what I'm asking is for you to be accountable for what you said. That's all. I mean, people are talking about this morning. All I'm asking is, can you just be accountable for what you said? I mean, you know, it's just like when Barack Obama was elected president. You know, he is the leader, and now we have to work, Republicans and Democrats. I mean, it's like this whole thing of, you know, we're going to make this difficult. Why does it have to be so difficult in our words?
There was a lot of things in consideration that we don't want to go into because it's too long, because things were just not set up right. We had no idea about what was going to happen at the board meeting because they didn't tell us who they're going to hire in advance. There was no meetings, no nothing. Just all of a sudden, everything hit at once, and there's things that I did not think was right.
Well, let me ask you this, because, you know, Janet Barisi has come in. It's her first meeting as the leader, you know, as the superintendent. Isn't there something called support? Come alongside and help instead of it being combative.
I wasn't wanting to hurt her.
No, I'm not saying that you hurt her. I'm saying you were combative. There's so much bitterness, it seemed like, at this meeting. Mr. Gilpin was pretty firm in his response to her, saying, you're a member of the board, you're not a dictator. I mean, how does this solve anything? How does this mean work together?
I agree. There should have been more previous work done before all that took place. I agree with that.
Let me ask you this, because I had mentioned that, and I think we got an apology from you publicly, and that's what Senators Clark, Jolly, and John Ford are wanting. But they're also calling for your resignation from the board, and a lot of other people are too. Are you going to resign from the Board of Education, Herb?
No.
Do you feel that those calls for you to resign are warranted?
They may want it, but I'm not going to resign.
How long have you been a member of the board, sir?
I think I went on in April or May. I don't remember exactly.
And you were appointed by the governor. I know Governor Mary Fallin also came out and said basically that she was disgusted by the remarks that you made yesterday. And I just really want to know if you could publicly say, are you going to go into these next school board meetings with a different attitude, seeing how this has played out from what happened yesterday?
I'll work with anybody as long as it's for the betterment of education.
And I understand that, and I can appreciate that about working as long as it's for the betterment. I think the thing that people are wanting is it not to be so hostile. I mean...
I agree. I don't like the hostile meeting either. I didn't start that hostile meeting.
And I'm not saying that you did start it, sir, but all I'm saying is, you know, sometimes you have to be a bigger man and say, you know what, we aren't getting anywhere with this. Can we just, you know, chill out here? And can we talk about the issues instead of making it so personal? Why do we have to kind of go there and make it so personal?
Well, that was just a stage of the meeting. That's all I can say, because it really got out of hand, and it wasn't just the board. Ms. Breesy got out of very disturbed and carried away with some of her comments, too.
I know that when she was saying this is highly, highly inappropriate, sir, you didn't even really respond back to her about saying, you know what, I should have not said that. I mean, you were pretty firm in your choice of words there.
Well, that's just the way it turned out, I guess. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I didn't want to I didn't say anything to her then, because that was a bigger argument that would take place, because she was screaming.
She was screaming?
Yes, she was.
All right, Governor Mary Fallin with these comments. Herb, I want you to listen to them and then respond on the backside of the soundbite. Governor Mary Fallin.
Shame on them for making fun of a pregnant woman. Sorry, I've got to put that out there, because it's really disgusting to hear those type of comments being made.
Your thoughts, Herb Rozell?
That was taken all wrong. I had no intention of making fun of a pregnant woman. That had nothing to do with it. The only point that I tried to make was we needed and that was to the board, not even toward this woman, that we needed to make sure that we had somebody there in April and May.
All right, Herb Rozell, board member of the Department of Education. Herb, I just want to extend a thank you for talking with me about this morning. And I do believe that you have issued the public apology that's called for, but we do know 2 state senators are calling for your resignation. You're saying you're not going to resign, but I do appreciate you clearing things up for us on your side of this. And can I just ask one thing? The next meetings, can you vow here publicly that this tone of bitterness and even on both sides, that you will walk in with a new attitude and not have that? Is that correct? Can you promise that?
You're building me up as a bad person causing a problem. I don't do that. That board meeting got carried away without me getting involved.
Well, let me ask you this. Could you step up and lead out and say, you know what, we've got to act like adults here, and no one's going to do this? Then can you lead out?
I'll do what I can as long as it's good for education.
All right, Herb Rozell, we appreciate your time this morning, live right here. Our exclusive interview with Herb Rozell after those comments, and you've been chiming in. A lot of folks not happy with them. We're going to tell you how you can get those comments on 79640. We're going to switch gears, talk a little weather with Jed right now. Jed.